So welcome to this week's edition of This Must Be the Place. So we're going to talk about Nicollet Avenue, a.k.a. Eat Street, a.k.a. nobody calls it Eat Street. It's Nicollet Avenue. We're going to talk a little bit about escalation clauses, and we're going to fight about it. We're going to escalate things to an unhealthy level.
Get the claws out, too.
And then BooMTiMeS and we out.
This must be the place. Yeah, this must be the place. Time to waste, ain't no time to waste. So whether you in Minneapolis or St. Paul, Bloomington to Maple Grove, from the east side to the west side, down south to way up north, let me hear you say, this must be the place. Yeah, this must be.
Hello and welcome. This is the Twin Cities real estate adjacent. Nope, that
You're
guy.
already messing it up.
Hello and welcome. Hello. Welcome to This Must Be the Place, the only Twin Cities real estate adjacent podcast where one of the co-hosts' marriage was based on an inspection contingency.
I see what it's like from the other side now.
Yeah, it's just, it's mid. You know,
It's all right.
Your
it's like
ex-girlfriend had to make sure all the bits and pieces were
I see, and with the inspection contingency.
washed and lathered, and there weren't funky smells
That's
coming
right.
from anywhere.
That's right.
She had to see if the plumbing worked.
Make sure
there any
you're
leaks.
wearing the cool water cologne.
Yeah. Gonna see if
Were you a cool water cologne guy?
No, dude. I was
CK1?
Dracar Noir.
Oh, the black bottle.
Yep. And colors. Benetton. A little bit earlier. Yeah.
I was a Dracar Noir.
Dracar,
guy,
everybody was Dracar.
Yeah.
And that was like a 7th or 8th grade cologne for me.
Got it. Yeah,
Not sure I ever wore cologne in high school, man. I naturally just
Your musk.
my natural musk is
They should bottle it.
it's like in Anchorman when Paul Rudd is
Panther, whatever.
Panther Claw or Panther
Sex Panther.
Yes, yeah, that's my that's my natural musk.
Smells like gasoline.
Yeah, I just sit in here pumping iron, getting my Panther sex on.
That sounds good. That sounds
Sex
good.
Panther sex doesn't sound good.
Oh, it sounds way worse. Hello.
Hey, you
hello.
going? Okay.
And welcome to This Must Be the Place, the only Twin Cities real estate and real estate adjacent podcast where one of the hosts is recently collaborating with a local news celebrity on a new line of large beach umbrellas.
Yeah, that one just.
Do you want to know what it's called?
Woo!
One of the hosts is collaborating with a local news celebrity on a new line of large beach umbrellas called Sven Sundgaard Sun Guards.
That's.
Sven Sundgaard's Sun Guards.
Why do they? You remind me of Grunkle Stan in Gravity Falls when the jokes fall a little short and he just says it again louder.
Now, do you understand? Do you know who Sven Sundgaard is?
I do, and I understand the
Sven Sundgaard's
double
Sun
meaning, the
Guards.
double entendre, if you will.
Yeah.
But why do they have to be large? It made it sound like it was going to be a fat joke or something.
No, it's large because you're protecting yourself from the sun.
And why can't you commit that to memory?
Because I got so much.
I got too much going on up here. Why is that something you got to stare at a phone for? The delivery would be so much better if it was just off the top.
All right, I'll take that.
Yeah,
criticism.
Sven Sundgaard's
Sun Guards. Without reading it from.
That could also be a line of sunglasses developed by Sven.
Sven Sundgaard Sun Guards. Ooh, see, I didn't workshop this enough. I should have.
We should do this. We should get Sven. Sven, we know you listen. We know you hear us.
Don't get banned, Sven.
Don't get banned. Don't get banned. Okay, John from the Middle Earth.
Cincinnati.
No, from This Must Be the Place.
What are you talking
John
about?
From 1 Minute Tours.
Oh, John O'Sullivan.
Yes.
John,
come on. He's teetering on the bandwagon.
He's teetering.
The bandwagon.
The bandwagon.
Sven, don't do it. Don't do it to yourself.
I once, when I was a server at Chino Latino in approximately 2005, I waited on Sven Sundgaard and somebody he was dining with.
Was he a good tipper?
I don't remember, but I remember him.
That means he wasn't a bad tipper.
Yeah,
right? Because you remember
the bad ones.
You know who's terrible to wait on? And he came into Salou a lot? And I'm going to say it.
Andrew Zimmern.
Tim Pawlenty.
Oh, yeah, F
He
that
was
dude.
a Pawlenty big dick. You like that?
He did come into our restaurant a lot, and he was not very nice.
No, he was a douche.
Yeah.
Like, politics aside, like, whatever.
Big dick.
A Pawlenty big dick.
Yeah, you throw in the politics, and it's just a cocktail of douchiness.
Yes. Yeah. Shout out Heidi and Russ. Anyways.
Sven Sundgaard.
Sven Sundgaard.
All right,
I like
I'm going
it.
to commit that to memory next time.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I like Her Burgers was pretty good. Did they contact you about that?
They reached out to my representatives.
Yes.
I haven't gotten back to them yet.
Yes. Okay.
So
right.
we'll see. I got to see their message in full and then respond accordingly.
Okay. Sounds good.
Through my
Escalation clauses.
What
are they?
What is an escalation clause?
What is an escalation clause? Is it like when we make an offer on a house and you don't like the offer, so we say it louder and more aggressively?
Maybe. Is it when you buy a house and you decide to put an escalator in instead of a staircase?
That's a possibility.
Because as Mitch Hedberg said, an escalator can never break. It can just become stairs.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So when you're at the mall
Yeah.
or Menards, for example, because Menards, 2-level Menards, the escalators are always broken.
Yeah.
But they're not stairs, they're just ramps.
No, it's like
they're
it's,
ramps.
Yeah, it's
They're ramps where your cart can't move at that point because they got the cart grooves
Yeah, they
and
got you stuck.
and the ramp grooves.
Yeah.
And you're just standing there. You can't go up, you can't go down, you're stuck. What are you gonna do? How do people get off that thing when it's broken? Why are there not
you hop over the railing and
dead
break
people
your ankle?
all over Menards just withered in the middle of the ramps, dehydrated, clawing out for 10-gallon tubs of cheese balls.
So what is an escalation
An
clause?
escalation clause is a clause in a purchase agreement that basically says, here's our offer, right? For example, just had one. I'm going to make up different numbers as not to, violate any laws. We're going to offer $400,000 on this house, but we are going to escalate to $450,000, and we will beat any offer by, in this case, $5,000, right? So we're at 400, someone else comes in at 410, now we're at 415. So we have escalated our offer to a predetermined amount, a stated amount within the contract above the highest offer to become the highest offer.
Yes.
So it's a way to keep your client always in first place, up to a certain ceiling number, a cap number, if you will.
It's a tool in your toolbox as a buyer who wants to make an offer on a property.
Do you like escalation clauses? Do you try to use them as so let's separate this. As a buyer, do you like escalation clauses?
I don't like them
ever.
Sam, I am.
I do not
like them on either side. I get them. I understand the reasoning behind them. I understand the strategy of them. But it unnecessarily confuses things for the seller and the seller's agent.
But what if, so typically in a transaction, if a seller or seller's agent predicts there are going to be multiple offers in a scenario, more often than not, they will say, please, no escalation clauses. So you're told at that point, figure it out, come with your highest and best. But what if you put in that offer first before they expect multiples or whatever? Have you ever used one as a buyer representative?
I have. When directed by my buyers that they wanted to do it.
Gotcha.
I have done it.
Okay.
If people ask me about it,
yes,
I say I'm totally willing to do it. This is what it is. I recommend because you kind of are, when you add an escalation clause to an offer, you're slyly giving the impression that you may not want the house as much, or you're kind of dancing around not putting your best foot forward.
That's
That's the impression.
That's not necessarily how I take it, even as a and granted, I haven't been doing this as long as you, but that's not necessarily how I take it. But when you point it out like that, that's how I see it, right?
Sure.
I think as I see it, it's like we love this house and we don't want to miss out if that means we have to stretch for a couple $1,000s above where we really want it to be. But to your point, if that's your max, and that's what you've decided is your max in rational times, just come correct with that offer.
Come correct.
Yeah.
I don't hate them. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not like a drawing a line in the sand. Like, this is something I will not do. I just prefer to keep offers as clean, as simple as possible, because it is such a layered thing anyway.
Especially in this market right now.
Yeah, man.
Right? So where they get really tricky, for those of you out there that are like, oh, what's the big deal? Where they get really tricky is if you are a seller or a seller's agent and you are in a multiple offer situation and you have 7 offers and 4 of them have escalation clauses, and one is over by $5,000, one is over by $1,000, one is over by $2,000, one is over by $3,000. It's all of a sudden, well, this one becomes first, and it becomes first by $5,000. Well, then it triggers this one to go up by $1,000.
Right.
But then this one is going up by $2,000. But then the first one, is that going up by $1,000
Right.
over this one?
That's exactly right.
What supersedes what? How
Right.
do you determine how it plays
muddies
out?
the
In
water.
what order does it happen? Right. Which can get into a really tricky situation. And then when you use the escalation clause, if you are a good agent as a buyer representative, you're going to say, if you use this escalation clause, we're going to need you to prove it. We're going to need to get page X, Y, and Z, or 1, 3, and 4, or 1, 5, and 7, whatever it is,
Yes.
from the offer that triggered the escalation clause.
Yes.
So now you're sharing offer details,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a huge hassle. So the moral of the story is, come correct. Put your best foot forward. You love the house. You want to be in the house if it's your house. And this is not financial advice, but I can tell you, not once have I ever, in living in my house, been like, really wish I had that, what amounts to $12.42 a month back in my pocket from bidding $5,000 over where I really wanted to be.
Right.
Right? Like, I'm happy that I'm in my house and I love my house and I'm never planning on moving. Right? So you have to balance that long-term, do I want to be here? Do I love this? Versus, am I stretching a little bit now, or is it a little bit uncomfortable? And if you feel that you can and that's right for you, go ahead and do it. And if you feel that you can't, then be secure in the offer you're making and be prepared to walk away.
Fully.
Right?
But yeah, the moral of the story is that's what an escalation clause is. And if you are a buyer or a seller, as you all most likely will be listening to this at some point in your lives, many of you soon, it's a tool in your toolbox. Ask your agent about it.
Use it wisely.
We're your agents, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
We all know. We're gonna be representing you on either
Ask
side.
us about it.
Ask us about it, even though you've already listened to this. Just say, hey, whether you're a buyer or a seller, let's address escalation clauses. If you're selling it, do you want to entertain them, or should we nip it in the bud right away? If you're a buyer, reach out to us. Is this something we can do, should do? Because it depends on a lot of factors.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, is it new to the market? Are there a lot of offers on it? Has it been on the market for 14 days and there's not been an offer on it? Then you don't need, I mean.
Even 5 years from now, you say, oh, I remember in episode 31, you referenced escalation clauses.
Yeah.
Back in 2025.
Yeah. Is that still a thing? Tell me about it now.
Tell us how that went.
Yeah.
You know, can we still do that?
That kid is back on the escalator again.
Yeah.
Do you know what that's from?
No.
It's from a little movie called Mallrats. It's very funny.
They are trying to redo a Mallrat thing, I believe.
Yeah.
Part 2 or a whole new?
I don't know much about it.
Was that the movie where they said we did it in a very uncomfortable place? And then they were like, you mean in the back of a VW
The
bus?
back of a Volkswagen. Yeah, that was Mallrats.
Okay,
Yes.
Classic.
It's such a bad movie that I love so much, and I quote and laugh at still when I watch it. Yeah, are you a Kevin Smith guy? Is that like a big? Or were you?
I was.
Clerks is like an all-time.
Yeah,
great
like there was a
film.
point. There was a point where I was like, it's kind of like M. Night Shyamalan, right? Like there's a point where you're just like, dude,
I get it.
Can we stop making like the beach? Can we not ever?
I actually kind of like.
I like
beach.
it, but I like it, but I'm just like, it's not like, to me, low-key Signs was his most hilarious movie. I know everybody talks about The Sixth Sense and The Turn and everything, but Signs to me was the ultimate movie from him because it was hilarious. I thought Joaquin Phoenix was absolutely hysterical in that movie. And it could have been just with when I saw it, my wife and I, at the time, not my wife, because it's 20-some years ago, had eaten some like weed brownies that I made or something like that tasted like ditchweed and were terrible. But we laughed our way through that movie. And we might have been the only ones in the theater laughing.
I was going to say, famously, an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
What did you say, Shyamalan?
Shyamalan.
That's an interesting pronunciation.
How dare you? I'm going to look up how to pronounce it.
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan?
Shyamalan. He's from Philly. He's a Philly guy. I know this.
He
sits at the basketball games, and they don't go front row. M. Night Shyamalan. Shyamalan. Silent I am.
Famously, I don't think characters in his movies ever smile or laugh. They're very
Joaquin with the little hat on.
Oh, that part was funny.
He's funny.
Yeah,
It was a funny character. Very dry humor, but funny, I think. And he's a great actor.
Where do we get this from? That kid is back on the escalator
Escalators,
again?
yes.
Escalator clauses.
Yep.
So yeah, escalation clauses. If you have any questions about escalation clauses, about a transaction, about real estate,
good transition,
about buying, selling, if you're thinking about buying and or selling a home, if anybody you know is thinking about buying and or selling a home in the next 1 month to 48 months.
We know some pretty great realtors.
Go on to golden-shields.com. Take a look at the wares.
Yeah. I changed the testimonial layout a little bit. You see that? I am our web developer as well.
Yeah. I don't bring a lot to the table. Real estate-wise, I do. But other than that, I don't. Go to thismustbetheplacepod@gmail.com. If you have any questions.
No, that's an email. That's not a go-to. That's not a website. Send us an email.
At that.
This must be the place.
Drop us a phone call that we can answer, or you can also leave a voicemail at 612-234-1889.
Yep. We're here for you.
The plug season session is over.
We love you.
And now, This Must Be the Place presents Neighborhood Watch.
This week, it's not a neighborhood we're watching. It's more like a street. It's more like an experience.
It's part of the Whittier neighborhood, if you want to call it a neighborhood.
Well, I went into downtown as well with my Nicollet Avenue experience.
It's 24th to 28th.
I know that's Eat Street.
That's Eat Street.
Yeah, but I took Nicollet all the way down and around. So I'm going to throw some other things at you because I thought we were doing Nicollet, not necessarily Eat Street.
We're going to do Eat Street for Neighborhood Watch and maybe a couple of other spots right on the outskirts.
Definitely a couple other spots beyond the outskirts.
So, Casey, the first thing I want to ask you is, what you know about Eat Street?
I know that I like the food there. How's that? I know that it is a street.
There we go.
That runs in Minneapolis.
Which direction?
North-south.
Yes, very good, very good.
Toward the old Kmart.
South to the old Kmart.
Yep.
On Lake Street.
And then it just stops because you can't get through?
Not at this point. We don't know what's going to happen in the future.
It's been 20 years and you can't get through?
Nope.
I think you should keep it there forever and just dig a tunnel under it.
Hell yeah.
The chunnel.
The chunnel, yeah.
Spell it with a K. K-H. The chunnel.
as an homage to Kmart.
Yes. Yeah. And, and Eat Street, I'm not calling it Eat Street. Stupid. Nicollet has some of my favorite
It's
restaurants.
East Street from 24th to 28th.
I mean, I feel like
it's a little corny. You're right.
Did they try to, is that a thing?
Oh, it's a thing, bro.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
They have the signs on the street that say Eat Street.
I don't know, but if you go to eater.com, which is a great website, if you're traveling to a city around the United States or even around the world, and you like food, Eater is a great resource. If you go to eater.com, they've got digital setups in every city, and they put out every season, they put out the 38 current best restaurants in the Twin Cities, let's say, or the 38 best restaurants in Philadelphia or whatever. And it's generally widely regarded as a great resource of accuracy for what is good now. But they also have, Eater has a best bites and best restaurants on Eat Street.
Oh,
So
interesting.
Eat Street's a thing.
Okay.
Is my long way of saying that.
All right. Well, I mean, it does have some great restaurants there. Some like all-time classic Minneapolis restaurants that I will never stop going to.
Yes.
So I do love it, and I love it's right in the heart of South Minneapolis, right outside of downtown.
Right outside, just south of downtown, just north of the Kmart on Lake Street.
Yeah.
Do you know what I was thinking about? Eat Street. Are you familiar with the movie Good Will Hunting?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Retainer.
There's a portion of the movie where Robin Williams' character is talking to Matt Damon's character. Turns out his name is Will Hunting.
Yeah.
He's hunting for
Yes.
goodwill is what
Yes.
we find from the
Yes.
from the title. But he, for those unfamiliar with the movie, this character that Matt Damon's playing is a math genius. But he lives in South Boston, and he's all about authenticity, and he grew up poor, and he's not trying to put on any airs of being, some smarmy smart guy. But he finds this therapist, Robin Williams, named Sean something, I think.
How deep we going in the cliff notes here?
Hold on. They're in a session.
Okay.
And Robin Williams is, he's kind of like Will Hunting has gone through a bunch of therapists, right? He can't find the right one because they all keep quitting because he's such an asshole. And Robin Williams is finally the one.
Yeah.
The one to break through the crust.
Yeah.
And he's talking to Will Hunting, and he's like, "You're a smart kid, huh? You think you're real smart.
I remember this.
You read books.
Yeah.
You know a lot.
Yeah.
You're very smart.
Yeah.
I bet you can't tell me what it smells like in the Sistine Chapel."
There you go.
That makes me think of Eat Street, because this stretch of Nicollet from 24th-ish to 28th or whatever, it makes me think of that line, because I want to tell people who've never been there, you don't know what it smells like on Eat Street
It's true.
at noon on a Saturday.
It's true.
It smells great.
Yeah.
There's so much,
Yeah.
so many complicated
Yeah.
aromas, whether it's coming from a bakery
Yep.
or whether it's coming from a Vietnamese joint or it's coming from a Greek restaurant. It's just the cacophony of aromas is
It really is
breathtaking.
the amount of restaurants within that particular like 4-block radius is pretty great.
What do we got?
Well, there are a couple
What are
things.
your favorites there?
So right off the bat, I love me some Pimento Jamaican Kitchen.
Love Pimento.
I personally get the One Love Bowl, which is pulled pork and jerk chicken with sweet plantains,
Everything comes
black
with sweet
beans,
plantains there, right?
rice,
Yeah.
and this slaw, this red cabbage slaw that just adds a crunch to everything. And I get it so you can choose your level of hot sauce
heat,
that comes with it. And I go with the Minnesota Nice because it's a little bit of a kick, but not too
They're like
much.
barbecue sauces, right? With varying heat levels,
like
I
heat
think.
level barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Yep. And it is delicious. When I lived over north before we moved to St. Paul with family, we would bite squad pimentos because shout out DJ Willie Shu. If you know, you know, and if you don't know, get hip to DJ Willie Shu brunches or night events around the city. He's best DJ in the city. He would always Bite Squad stuff super late, and Pimento was on the list. I can't remember if I turned him onto it or I think I turned him onto it, but like it was a staple food item for us living at that house in Over North. So not only do I love the food, but it also has like incredible memories associated with it. So I love me some Pimento Jamaican
Pimento's
Kitchen.
so good.
Shout out Yoni, my buddy Yoni, who used to be in a group or fronts a group called Pleasure Pause back in the day. Incredible guitar player.
P-A-W-S or P-A-U-S-E?
I'm not sure how he spelled it. I think it was U-S-E. That'd be too cat
Like
person.
stopping something.
Yes, yeah.
Not like animals'
Yes.
hands.
Great guitar player, but he got involved in, he was part of the ownership of Pimento for a while.
Cool.
Yeah, so great restaurant. And it opened a rum bar and probably like 8 years ago now, more, you know what I mean? So it's got this little rum bar patio thing, and they'll have live music there. And
And they have
it's
like a food truck too, right?
Yeah, and they're also in St. Paul, or I believe they were in the Keg and Case house. I think that might be all shut down.
That's where I ate all my pimento. Was in the Keg and Case space.
Because I think the Minneapolis one's better.
Oh, that's the original, right?
Yeah, right. It's like in Philly, not to go back to the Philly thing, but like, or New York or wherever, like the pizza place or the original cheesesteak place or the whatever, they say it's got to be something in the water, something about the ovens, something about it over there. Might have been the memories.
Yeah.
You know, who knows, right? Who knows how that affects food? I firmly believe that it affects food.
Totally.
Fucking ratatouille.
The terroir.
You know what I mean? Is that the
Well,
French
that's what
word
it is for wine. It's the somewhereness
Okay.
of a wine. It's everything: the climate, the dirt, the soil.
Sure.
Every tiny thing that can contribute to a wine is called the terroir. Same thing for food.
But so even beyond the physical location, I wonder, and truly I wonder about this, and I've never thought about it until now, how the memory of it applies to that, right? So not even the physical thing, but like if, for example, in Ratatouille, right? Like he immediately eats that ratatouille and was transported back to his mother in this little cottage of him, you know, skinning his knee or whatever it was, and like eating this ratatouille as comfort food. The memory of that food, of that thing, of that place contributes to how that food feels or smells or whatever else, right? So it's like the first time you go to a place and have that incredible meal when you don't go back there, you live in a different city and you go 15 years later, the food might not be the same, the people might not be the same, but like the memory of that place, I wonder how it affects that kind of thing. I wonder if it's part of the terroir, an existential part of the terroir.
It's a romantic notion.
Yeah,
I like that.
I'm a romantic kind of guy.
Yeah.
Quang.
Quang. You call it Quang?
Well, let me tell you why I call it Quang.
Why?
Because it's fucking called Quang.
I thought it's called Quang.
No,
I call
dude.
it Quang.
Yeah. All my Vietnamese friends call it Quang, so I'm gonna go with Quang.
Seriously?
I'm pretty positive.
Okay. Well,
I'm gonna workshop this along with M. Night Shyamalan, and we're gonna see. You call it Quang, I call it Quang. It's the best to me. It's the best Vietnamese joint in the cities, bar none. Love it. It's my favorite.
I agree. I love it too.
Even when it smells like old dishwater and they're cleaning the table next to you and you're just like, that's gross, I still love it.
Yep.
I love the cookie the size of my head.
Yep.
I love the pho.
Lemongrass chicken.
I love the bun. I love all that stuff. It's amazing. Pho 79 right down the street.
Never been there.
It's very good. The pho there is very good.
Is it better than Quang Quang?
It's similar to Quang Quang.
Okay. Because the pho Quang Quang is my favorite.
Yeah, it's great. But I do like if Quang.
We'll call it Quang.
If Quang is too busy, right? If the line is out the door, can't get a table, which is rare because it's a big freaking place and they turn and burn.
Yeah, it's like a mess hall. It's like a college cafeteria in there.
Yep. Then I'll go to Pho 79.
Got it.
As my it's like my backup kind of thing. Well, let's go back and forth. Give me something you like.
Well,
this is like basically a food episode.
It's almost a food episode, and
with one surprise thrown in.
And I came here hungry, so that was a bad move by me. Sticking with the Vietnamese, I'll go across the street to Lou's Sandwiches, which I think Lou's is the best banh mi.
Okay.
And speaking of location, they have one in Northeast.
Yeah.
And they have one on Eat Street.
Yeah.
They might have a third. I think the one on Eat Street is the best.
Yeah.
Like you were saying with Pimento.
Yeah.
The roast pork banh mi sandwich is, again, I'm a white middle-aged male from the state of Minnesota with Scandinavian and European roots.
You don't say.
I do say. And I don't have, so that said, I don't have a lot of experience traveling the world like Anthony Bourdain, eating banh mi sandwiches in various parts of the United States and or Southeast Asia, Vietnam specifically. That said, that's my favorite banh mi sandwich I've ever had.
Okay.
Lou's roast pork.
I've never tried it. I'm going to have to try it.
Yeah, sure.
My wife makes a killer banh mi.
Really?
Killer banh mi. And I like it because it's juicier than most banh mi's because it's like.
Where does she source the bread, the baguette? What do you?
I want to say it's just like
that's a
London
big part of it.
barley. So it's like a little bit crusty. It's like a French baguette.
Yeah, like a French,
obviously because like the history of Vietnam was French
Colonized.
occupation.
Yeah, it was
right?
colonized by
Colonization.
the French, yeah.
So that's why you'll see Vietnamese French bakeries.
Correct.
In St. Paul on University or
Correct,
wherever, right?
correct.
So part of their food that was adopted is you have these banh mi sandwiches that are on French baguettes, which make for an incredible
Dude,
mix of cultures or collision
colonization
of
is
cultures.
obviously the biggest blight on the world ever.
But it did create some
But
good
God
food.
damn, it created some good food.
There could be a whole series on TV about like another one, please. We got the colonization effect, but like the Food Channel version.
Sure.
Right? Like that explores all food options throughout the world of colonized countries, whether that's Africa or Asia or
Yeah, man.
it could be kind of cool from a food perspective.
That's
not from
that's a really good idea. Just how colonization affected food. culture,
Yeah.
all Southeast Asia, like you said,
Flavor
Africa,
juxtapositions and
South
combinations.
America,
Yeah. Yep.
even everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere is affected by colonization. Anyway,
What else you got? I'll throw one out for you that you're going to talk about.
Okay.
Rainbow Chinese.
Yeah, I love Rainbow Chinese.
Tell me why.
Because there's no good Chinese food restaurants in the Twin Cities.
There are
very
two
few.
or three.
Yeah,
that I
there's
like.
very few.
You didn't like the one I like. I only
didn't-
like it for two things, but
I must not have gotten the thing you
No,
liked.
it's okay.
But
I
I
mean,
got the Dan Dan
my wife
noodles.
feels they're a little starchy.
Yeah. And the Dan Dan noodles were good.
Did you
not
mix
great.
them all up so the pork roasted, like the little pork crackles were in there and all the sauce was around?
I don't
or did
remember.
You just
I
eat
was-
it as they served it.
It wasn't good.
All right.
But because the Twin Cities has a lot of, they have a lot of great Southeast Asian, non-Chinese
Sure.
restaurants, I feel like the Chinese, again, speaking as a middle-aged white Minnesotan man with European roots,
Doesn't stack up.
it's not as good as the other options. So I
No.
think Rainbow Chinese being a shining example of really cool and good.
Cool. It's good.
Oh,
It's great.
my adjectives today are on point.
How do you feel about the tea house? You ever been? It's great. It's cool. It's good. It's great.
Cool and good. By the way, Rainbow
It's awesome.
Chinese, I believe, is still doing takeout only
Okay.
for those
All right.
listening.
Glam Doll Donuts.
Love Glam Doll Donuts, dude.
Yeah.
I just love the vibe.
Yeah.
The donuts are what they are. They're
Yeah.
great. But they may not be the best donuts ever, but they're really, really, really good. But the vibe is the
Yep.
vibe, right?
2018, my daughter was, I don't know.
6, 5.
Yeah, it might have been when she was 5. Because it was in the winter. And we went to Glam Doll. And I just have memories of her. She's hilarious.
Yes.
I have memories of her with chocolate donut all over her face and her hair unkempt and like whatever like outfit she put together herself, dancing around to the music that they played in the back of Glam Doll Donuts at like whatever hour in the winter. It felt later than it was because it gets dark super early here.
Yeah, sure.
Just like donut all over the place. Just like loving
In the prime of life, having
And I
the
have
best.
this video,
Yeah.
and it will always be. I will always think of that when I hear Glam Doll Donuts. Again, the memory of a place,
Yeah, man.
is as important as the food itself.
If
But-
all of us could bottle that happiness
oh, dude.
and just drink from it for like 2 minutes a day.
Is it
to be
weird
that
if I plug this video in at the end of the podcast and everyone can see what I'm talking about? I'll
think
have to
you
check it with my
should.
daughter.
Yeah.
My can I tell you what my wife likes
Yeah.
about? And I
About
think-
Glam Doll or about Eat Street?
about Eat Street.
What's that?
Black Forest.
It's not there anymore though.
It's not?
I don't think so.
I thought it was.
I thought it closed.
As of this morning. I mean, she hasn't been there in a while.
Yeah.
All right, well then I'm not going to talk about it because I don't like it. I'm not a German food kind of guy. I'm not
I've
a
never
schnitzel
actually
kind
been.
of guy.
Maybe it's still open. Talk about it as if it's open.
German food.
German
She
food.
really likes the schnitzel.
It's right next to
and
Glam Doll, I think.
The sour vinegar-based food.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, she's like, you like I went to Iron Ranger last night, and we split.
You go there a lot.
Well, we were in the hood. I go there. I've been there like 5 times in my life.
Oh, okay.
But we were, my daughter's last day of school. She was at a friend's house. My son's in Chicago. It was just us. My wife got back from the airport from a business trip. Nobody wanted to cook. We were like, let's go sit on a patio.
Yeah.
And I had the giardiniera porchetta. And she was like, you like the giardiniera? You like the vinegar-based that? And I was
Yeah.
like, I do like, but I feel like it's offset by the richness of the bread and the cheese and everything. And she's like, well, that's like German food. It's offset by the savoriness of the sausage. And I was like, I don't know if I agree with the savoriness of the sausage can offset the vinegar-based stuff that I don't love. So she loves it. If you're into
Interesting
German food and Black Forest is still around, go there. But Google it first.
Right.
I thought it was still there, but you're throwing a wrench in this. We could look it up, but that seems like a lot of work.
Did
right
you
now.
watch 30 Rock?
Yeah, of course.
Tracy Morgan, there was this miscommunication where Tracy Morgan thought Googling yourself meant masturbating.
I remember
And
that
Tina
episode.
Fey,
I remember that episode.
he goes up to Tina Fey and he goes, hey, Liz Lemon, you mind if I go in your office and Google myself?
I go Google myself.
And she said, no, go right ahead.
Liz Lemon. I'm going to Google myself. Tracy Morgan.
Yeah, it's just a great show.
I'm going to, Little Tease. I want to talk about, you ever been to Little Tease?
I've never been to Little Tease, but
Okay.
I know of it.
Little Tease started as a hole-in-the-wall Mexican joint that I went to first 24, 23 years ago.
Sure.
Chips, dip, burritos, tacos, hole-in-the-wall, okay food.
Yeah.
Right? But like a staple, like because it was there, right? It was like,
Yeah, not everywhere you go has to be the best thing ever.
No,
a lot of
right?
it's based on vibes or maybe
and the
it's
food
cheap
scene
beer
was
or
totally
whatever.
different back then, right?
Yeah,
It wasn't
totally.
just so Little Tease was like a thing. So fast forward, it reinvented itself after closing for a little while
Yeah.
in 2022 as like this dive bar on steroids that has super cool vibe, great drinks, and then like not Mexican at all. So I love that they took and kept the Little Tijuana is
Yeah.
the place's name. But now it's like fried cauliflower and waffle fries and miso salad and like small plates, paneer dip with like naan or garlic naan, bulgogi, burgers, fried chicken sandwiches, like all the things.
Hell yeah.
And it's good, man. It's really good. So it's cool to see them reinvent that, keep the name, keep sort of the feel from the outside, but then switch it up all inside and bring it into this sort of foodie-ish dive bar scene that we have going on in town.
Love it.
So I love Little Tease.
Got to check that out.
The Copper Hen,
Copper Hen, of course.
good breakfast.
Yeah.
Good pancakes.
Little spendy for Eat Street.
Fancy.
in IMO,
fancy-ish.
but yeah.
Good big-ass cinnamon roll the size of
Yeah.
your head.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a breakfast spot on East Street, I think
Super
it's
good.
like one of the few.
Yeah, like Glam Doll's open, but that's
Yeah.
obviously just donuts.
Yep. And then Jasmine 26. You
Yeah.
ever been there?
I've not been there either.
Did you ever been to Jasmine Deli?
No, but I know where it is.
Yep. So the Jasmine Deli is a staple.
Yep.
Owned by the same people.
Yep.
So the same egg rolls, really freaking good.
Yeah.
But this is like hot pot, more hot pot.
Okay.
Have you ever had hot pot?
Uh-huh.
So hot pot, for those of you who don't know, it's like hibachi, but with like soup.
Yeah, liquid. It
Liquid. It's like liquid.
What it sounds like.
Liquid hibachi. So you order
hibachi.
We're full of mispronunciations today.
Yep, we sure are.
So they bring you like a bowl of your broth and all the vegetables that you want and your choice of protein or non-protein or whatever, and you like make your food right at the table on a hot pot, and you kind of make your own soup, and it's super delicious.
I love it.
And it's good for Minnesota, man, because Minnesota, we have long winters, so you need soup places sometimes. That's why Vietnamese I love so much in the winter, because sometimes you just want a hot, steaming bowl of pho.
I feel like frequently I want that in the winter.
Especially when you're sick.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got like, medicinal qualities. Like there's ingredients, like the allspice and the clove and cinnamon and these kind of things.
The jalapeno.
And the jalapeno can clear out the nasal.
Sriracha.
Yeah, man. It's all just goes together into a big hodgepodge of amazingness.
Yeah. Can I talk about one thing that's not food that's over there?
First,
M. Night Shyamalan.
I think you're right.
We only got 9 minutes and 42 seconds.
Okay, go.
I started the timer.
Go.
Cheapo Records. They used to be everywhere in the city. You look left, Cheapo. That's right. But you look left, Cheapo.
The one
way.
The one by McAllister, I when my son was born.
Cheapo Tapes and Records.
Yeah.
Do you know how many
I used to walk
days I spent there?
Yeah, man.
You kill time. You're not searching the internet. Nobody searched the internet. It was
There is no
dial-up,
internet.
right? You didn't Uber Eats things or Bite Squad things. You got off your
like
ass.
drunk uncle right now.
You walked to the Cheapo Records and you looked through the used CDs.
The sound, sound of the clicking.
Yeah, click, find the ones you like. You get like $5.99 CDs, which are huge. You open your fucking big black folder that you had 1 billion CDs in.
Yep.
You check out the record aisle because it was cool to have vinyl, especially in the hip hop community. Or, like Cheapo Records was a place to go and spend. It was like a Blockbuster, right? Spend 2 hours, an hour searching for what's new.
Yeah.
It's like finding new music on Spotify. You don't have it curated in your playlist now. You had to go search for this stuff. And Cheapo was the best place to do it.
Not only what's new, I totally agree, but also like there would always be cool music playing.
You had listening stations.
Yeah, you had listening stations, but whoever's working the front desk could play whatever they wanted. And if that was cool, you could ask them. Also, you'd be searching through these CDs and you might be like, holy shit, I didn't know The Cure put out this album in 1987. This one slipped by me.
Yep.
So you buy it used for $4.95 or whatever. And there you go.
Or you find stuff based on cover art that you would have never
100%.
ever even found because you're like, damn, that's a cool cover art. So shout out Cheapo Records for still existing.
It's falling apart
in that location. There are, I think, some more in the cities, but they used to be everywhere.
They used to be everywhere. There was one in Uptown on Lake.
I sold so many CDs and records consignment through Cheapo, like my own golden records there.
Oh, your own, I see.
So shout out them for offering a place for local artists to get their stuff out, and they would do window displays. And if you were a local artist who could get a big window display, that was amazing, man. Being at McAllister and having my release record be in the front of a huge window with posters and records and CDs, dude, it was like I made it. You know what I mean? It was great. The nostalgia. I hopped on the nostalgia bus there for a second.
That's great, man. Shout out Cheapo.
Yeah.
The kids will never know.
I want to end it with that. I was going to go into downtown Nicollet.
I was going to talk about like Spy House Coffee and stuff. You know what?
Spy House is great.
It's great.
Yeah. But anyways, East Street's worth checking out. From what street to what street?
24th to 28th.
On what street?
On Nicollet Avenue.
On what Ave? My fault.
Nicollet Ave,
yeah,
north-south.
Nicollet Ave. Go there.
Agree.
BooMTiMeS, we got 6 minutes and 32 seconds.
Beautiful.
What do you got?
Okay, BooMTiMeS.
Hey, did I tell you I got into running and I re-found Pearl Jam?
No.
And I love
please tell me
running
all
the Pearl
about
Jam.
it. Was it the 10 album?
I ran
perchance?
4 miles to the 10 album today. And it really does take you on a great journey.
BooMTimeS.
Okay.
BMTMS. No
Double O.
vowels. Books, music, TV, movies, sports. Really can be about anything for you new listeners. BooMTimeS. BMTMS. No vowels.
Books. Only often movies.
You're still
TV.
trying to make it a thing.
Intimate music. Extreme sports.
So what I have, my first and maybe my only thing for BooMTimeS this week.
It can't be.
You're right. There's a show on Netflix that came out that I consumed the entire series in the span of a week
Okay.
called Department Q. It's brand new.
Okay.
It is so effing good. If you watched, what was the show with Gary Oldman?
Friends.
No. He put out recently, there's like 4 seasons of it.
The 5th season's coming. Slow horses. The 5th season's coming.
I can't wait. I love that show.
I'm still in the first season.
This kind of gives off
slow.
similar
The horses are
vibes,
slow.
but it's Scottish. Everybody sounds like Groundskeeper
I was
Willie
going to
from The
say, so
Simpsons.
that's hard to understand.
It's super hard to understand, but it's so well done. All the characters
What's it
are
called?
great. Department Q.
Department Q.
Department Q.
Okay.
The storyline of the first and only season thus far, I hope there's more, is so engrossing, and the characters are so great, and the dialogue and the writing, I can't, you got to check it out. And when you can't understand something, you might have to rewind because the thick-ass Groundskeeper Willie accents are rocking, but it's really good. What do you got?
I was working all week. I was busting my butt, getting the house ready, on the market, open houses, under contract.
Nobody wants to hear this. This is BooMTimeS,
all
man.
week, man. I didn't have time to consume anything. You know what I consumed? I'd say I got into running.
Pearl Jam's
And nope. Also, Fugees The Score is a pretty good album to run to.
Fugees The Score. Very quickly before we go, my favorite radio station in town is Radio K. Mm-hmm. F the Current for
Shout out
many
Ali.
reasons. Who's that?
Ali is now a food writer.
Ali Shaheed Muhammad?
Nope, Ali in
Okay.
town. I forget his last name. But he's a food writer, writes all about
Yeah,
food.
we've talked about him
He's
before.
amazing. He was originally a DJ. He went to the U. He was a DJ at Radio K. He played a lot of hip-hop, local hip-hop. Been on the station many a time, freestyling late at night to the tens and tens of listeners.
Yes. Not a lot of listeners, but it is the best radio station in
Yeah.
town. And if you don't listen to Radio K, you should, 100.7, but their DJs are college students, AKA they're young whippersnappers.
They're hip. They got their finger on the pulse.
No, my point here is they're young.
Oh, all right.
And they played, I believe they played Ready or Not by the Fugees from The Score recently.
Yep.
And they often don't know the music necessarily, so they mispronounce things. So they're very young, and they said, "Oh, I've not heard of this band before, the Fugees."
The Fugees?
And they said, "This is Ready or Not by the Fugees. Let's check it out."
Can I say that?
I was like, "Oh no!" But The Score, I mean, it holds up so well, and The Score might, I mean, if I had to rank, and you know I like to rank, it would probably be in my 100 favorite records of all time.
Yeah, it's a great record.
So good.
It's one of the few records that, like, granted, nowadays it feels a little bit weird, but like they did skits correctly.
They
on that
sure
album.
as shit did.
For a couple reasons. From a functional standpoint, they tagged the skit onto the end of the record.
Yes.
So you could always skip and get straight to the music if you wanted
Yes.
to. But if you decided to listen to the album straight through, then they took
Kinda
you
like De La Soul
on a
did,
journey.
right?
Yeah, lots of rappers did it well, but that was the first one that really ever stuck out to me.
Yeah.
I remember like the Chinese chicken wing skit.
Yes.
Where he didn't want no wing, fried hard as hell.
Yeah.
And then they got into some like combat fight because of it. So it's a great record. It reminds me of though the mispronunciation theme that we've been going with today. I went to get a Garmin watch for my wife because I love this thing. Did I mention I got into running? And I've been running to Pearl Jam's 10. So I went to go to Shields to get my wife a Garmin watch because I got into running and they're great. Better than Apple Watches because 2 weeks battery on this thing. 2 weeks. I can wear it in my sleep.
Talked about this last
Anyways,
week, bro.
It's called The Venue. VENU 3. And the woman said...
No, she didn't. Can I predict?
Yeah.
Did she say Venu?
She did. She said, I think we're all out of Venu 3 watches. And I was like, what world are we living in where we do this? We're adults. It's not a Venu. I wanted to be like, try again. Try one more time. You can do it. Think about a word you know.
Sounds similar.
So yeah, there's that. No, I don't have a ton. I did notice, I don't know if it's an official thing or not, but if you are in St. Paul along River Road in the Highland Bridge, the new part of Highland by Ford Parkway Bridge.
Yep.
All of the nice new big luxury custom homes are being built along the river in front of the row home.
Yes. Those are not townhome.
Yep.
No, those are...
We'll call them townhomes.
Yeah, I think they are.
They're row homes.
Yeah, they're
right?
townhomes. Yeah.
But all of those houses with massive windows and solar arrays and super nice you can go tour them this week. There's parking for so you can go walk around some swanky rich people new builds that are
What are they, 1.5 mil?
1.5 and up at least.
Yeah. Especially if you're the first house closest to the river.
Yeah.
Then that's going to be the case.
Yeah. So if you're looking for cool homes to take a look at on a home tour, that's happening.
Call us. We'll go with you.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll help you buy a $1.5 million home.
No problem.
Yep.
That's about all I got. R.I.P. Sly Stone.
Yeah. Yep.
He died 2 days ago? Yesterday?
Yesterday. You called me yesterday.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll catch you next week.
This must be the place. Yeah, this must be the place.